Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is Into the Storm.
I'm Dan. I'll be playing Helios the Immolator.
I'm John. I'll be playing Ariad Ein Ariat, the Elven Barbarian.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I play Farley, the thief.
I'm Josh, and I play Sapush, the druid.
And I'm Matt, playing Father Kyle Black, the cleric.
And I'm your Dungeon Master, Jake. This is episode 2, Always Smile at a Crocodile.
But the bottle she's calling to this sickness that lives with me.
Okay, so last game ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. As I recall, the ship sunk, and you guys were all left bobbing around in the water during a storm. Everyone except Sapush is dead. No, not quite. But you tried your best. Well, some of you tried your best to prevent the ship from sinking, while others collected their goods. And in the end, the weather seemed too much for the unprepared ship to take. And it did, in fact, capsize. So here we are. An indeterminate amount of time later, when the sun is up, the weather is warm and calm, and you're all in a life raft. A few of the crew managed to fish all of you out, and you see another boat pretty on the other side of the wreckage that was the Maiden's Dream. Pulling out what supplies they can find and survivors, and you all have made your way into this boat. Sapush, you, when the storm calmed down a little bit,
I think he probably really did become a fish and go underwater and be like, well,
nice. Okay,
he checks on him a little bit, but he's like, well, I can't save them all.
Sapush returns a few hours later, and all of you are in this life raft with 4 random crewmen.
Sapush pulls himself up over the side.
Oh,
as a human again.
Sapush, you made it.
You are all alive. This is a pleasant surprise.
Certainly.
Keep little boats inside the big boats always.
And then smaller boats inside the little boats. And
Sapush looks around for a smaller boat.
what does your hair look like?
It's full blown seaweed. Like it like long past his shoulders, just kind of wringing wet seaweed.
How far are we from land? Helios asked
One of the crewmen points at a seagull. You see there's a bunch of gulls picking at food supplies that have floated to the surface and maybe some corpses. And he points to the gull and he says, "Not far. That's a good sign." And then the crewman yells over to the other boat and he says, "Captain, do we know which way?" The captain waves over to your boat, and then his boat starts to head towards you.
Helios asks one of the sailors again, "Have you ever seen a storm like it?"
"No, nothing so sudden. If we'd been ready for it, we might have been all right. But with the sails full, so few ready on deck, we didn't stand a chance."
Does anyone have food?
So as far as equipment goes, you
Erase it
guys,
Fucking Farley
John,
reaches into his pocket and pulls out gold coins.
What is your weapon? Did you have a spectral weapon?
It's a two-handed sword.
Okay.
Basically a long curved.
Okay. So it's probably like in a sheath on your back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got that and your armor, and whatever kind of trinkets or whatever fit in your pockets.
Yep.
But anything else, like adventuring gear or food, it was in packs and packed away, and it's all gone. Dan, you probably have nothing. Whatever was in your pockets.
Yeah, he pretty much my standard gear says 1 healing potion and 10 coins.
Okay.
And then also a symbol of your sacrifices past, which was my hand,
Okay.
which I probably still have.
Cool.
And I probably keep with me a small metal bowl. It's probably in a pouch, which is like I'll burn like small offerings in that.
Okay.
So that's probably just about it.
So you've got the bowl, you've got the hand, and you can pick either the healing potion or the coin.
I'll do
You
the
lost.
healing potion.
Okay. Ryan, what belongings do you normally have?
Helios's coins.
I have a dagger and short sword, 3 throwing daggers, and adventuring gear, along with 10 coins.
Okay. So you
That's it.
lost the adventuring gear, lose one of the weapons, and 10 more coin. Shapush, do you have any?
Sapush has he wears kind of the effective equivalent of hide armor,
Okay.
and I guess it it hulks as it just somehow magically
Yeah,
appears. So he's not
it does
naked
say
all the
that.
time.
Yep.
He has some poultices and herbs, which is probably always on a belt, and he has the staff, which is probably gone.
Okay. Yeah, so the staff is gone, but because of the way your druid shapeshift works, everything else is on you. If it had been on you.
Yeah, the pulses and herbs would always
Yeah,
be in his little
yeah.
belt.
Kyle Black.
Well, Dio had, that's my god, by the way, had once sent me a message that I would be in a shipwreck at one point. So while everybody else was trying to bail out the ship and save it, I was grabbing all of my stuff and filling packs.
This is true.
So I have I've got my armor, I've got my staff with several bandages. I have a healing potion, and I also probably would have grabbed like rations as well. Food, probably some fresh water, and obviously a bunch of empty crates.
Did you take on your starting gear, did you take adventuring gear or dungeon rations?
Dungeon rations.
Okay. So you've got that. So you've got all of your stuff. Because that is literally what you did that whole time. So it's fair. Yeah.
Sapush reaches over to Kyle's pack as he's like kind of checking through stuff, and he just grabs a chunk of like dry bread or whatever and just breaks it off without saying anything. And he starts, as like everybody looks at like, oh, we do have some food. He starts breaking it up and throwing it in the water to the side and calling to one of the seagulls.
Sapush, we might need to ration that.
He keeps going.
Maybe he's trying to catch the seagulls so he can eat them. Are you trying
Are
to
they
catch the
edible?
seagulls?
A bunch of seagulls quickly fly over as seagulls do and start swarming the bread.
I think water is a more important concern.
Sapush uses spirit tongue. The grunt's bark, chirps, and calls of the creature of the wild are as language to you. You can understand any animal native to your land or kin to one whose essence you have studied. So I think I'll be able to talk to these birds, and I want to ask them, where's the closest land?
Where do you guys go at night? Like, where do you guys rave?
What's cool? What's hip?
Where's the Gull
What's
Club?
happening?
So Josh, how do you think animals communicate?
I think it's unique.
We doing fucking Disney?
each.
Mine?
I think it's unique to each animal. So there is like a language. So I think seagulls are really dumb, and it's just like words, and it's a lot of like head motion. So I basically look and I go land, and I look around, land, land, look up, look down, look around, and wait for one of them to indicate where the land is.
Okay, yeah. They all start
Land,
to
land,
the rest of you.
land.
They're squawking, but they all start saying land, 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 and they all look. They all stop and look in one direction.
Helios, if we kill some of these seagulls, can you cook them? You just like roast them for us, or
Whoa. Huh. Good idea.
I could start a fire, but I am not a cook.
Just wait. It always looks odd, but
Captain
he knows
Cohen.
what he's doing.
Captain Cohen's rowboat gets a little closer, and he says, "I'm glad to see that you all survived. Not that it will do us much good. I've lost my compass, so we'll have to wait until the stars are out."
I believe Sepush will have an answer.
After they respond like that, Spush then asks, "How far? How far? How far? Quarter day? Half day? Quarter day? Half day? Full day? How far? How far? Land?"
They all keep saying quarter day, but you also realize that they mean them flying.
Right.
I just like that cutscene of me saying, "Oh, this guy's got it," and then the captain turns and looks at this like this just mental case, like squawking like a bird, like to a flock of seagulls, throwing out our only food into the ocean.
What is it? What is it doing?
it's the push or the seagulls?
Both.
Talking? Can we say talking?
We have seen him do it before. He can speak with things of nature.
Sapush turns back and he says, "Yes, we know." He stops. He looks at the captain. He tilts his head and he goes, "With no boat, are you still captain?"
He laughs. Either way, my mission is to get you to Fortis and safely.
There's land. It is this way. Maybe a quarter day to fly. It would be a half day with big boat. Small boat? I don't know.
It sounds about right. We passed a small village, an island. It should be about a half day from where we are. He looks up at the sun and he says, "We got a bit turned around in that storm, but I think you're right. It probably is that way. And that probably is the closest land."
Why does he say probably?
It's hard to tell how far off course we are.
It's that way.
Well, it's better than waiting until nightfall.
We row.
We row. A couple of the sailors reach into the water and pull out planks of wood and start passing them around. And these two boats, the 5 of you, the captain, and 8 crewmen start rowing.
How many crewmen were there?
He lost 11.
Ow.
Yeah, pretty bad.
It's a lot of semen.
He spilled a lot of semen. Real tragic.
A lot of good seamen were lost.
And so you row. For most of the day, your hands are splintered from these makeshift oars and from the beating sun. But eventually, you do get within sight of a small island. You can see this island's maybe a half a mile across. And near its center is a fishing village with docks that stretch out over the water and several small fishing boats. Think very Caribbean, white sand, palm trees. And this village is appears to be natives. You know that this land is all considered part of your empire. Part of, what is it, Dan?
Balaki.
Balakai.
Balakai. But it's essentially a colony. So this small island is within sight, and as I said, looks like a native island. So your kingdom has expanded a bit, and this is essentially you've colonized these islands. So they know that you're kind of in charge. But also, this looks like a very small fishing village, and it doesn't seem like it really would have any significance, and so that there is no permanent Balakai presence here. There's no need for it. There's no reason. But as you come within view, you do see the mast of a large sailing ship, a ship as large as the one that you were just on. But as you get closer, you see that it is flying
Furion.
Furion flag. It's anchored off the shore. Its sails are rolled up, but it has a Furion flag. You're too far away to see if there's anyone on deck, but as you approach, you see that a few of its rowboats have already gone to the beach and seem to be in the village.
Seize the ship.
I'm probably looking the other way and just saying, it was such an exciting night. It's too bad for those sailors, but where I'm from, there aren't storms like that on the seas. It's generally pretty calm.
Ever.
What are you looking at? I kind of look behind my shoulder as you guys are staring at this.
Captain Cohen says, "Where I'm from, there aren't storms like that either."
Captain,
Hmm.
all of your men will honor the ceasefire, yes?
He nods as he looks at the ship.
Oh, is that other kingdom you're speaking of? I kind of look up at the flag.
That is the Furion flag.
Oh.
Its plumage is different color.
What does the Furion flag look like, Dan?
Well, since it's plumage, it is a falcon
Cool.
that has a serpent in its. So it's a Mexican flag. That's what I'm saying. It's a Mexican flag. No, it's a falcon that has a snake in its talons.
Cool.
What's our flag?
That's a snake.
With a falcon in its tail.
Yes, with its maw, like strangling it. Yeah. The Balakai flag is a symbol of. It probably has one of those more kind of traditional shields with like a
quartered shield.
Yeah, with like two horses on either side.
Mm-hmm. Cool. The captain says, "We will, of course, honor the ceasefire, but we don't know that they will do the same." He looks at all of his crew who are not in great shape. Most of them didn't hold on or have any weapons. And he says, if they wanted to slaughter us, no one would know any different.
Are they allowed here?
Technically, no. Dare we try to enforce that?
I would not think it would be wise, Helio says.
Like, nod back and forth.
We are, no doubt, outnumbered and without many of our provisions.
This island can't have that color plumage boat sail to it.
In a matter of speaking, yes. By the terms of the armistice.
Whose arms?
It is an agreement between the two peoples.
Between the people of this island?
Between the two kingdoms. And the island falls within the control of those kingdoms. Specifically, Balakai.
Sabush looks like he doesn't understand at all.
I'm sure that Helios is somewhat accustomed to this, so has probably adopted the nature of just explaining it as
And
he
moving
would
on.
and moving on.
Cohen says, don't head for the docks. Head for that shore over there, that beach. Best that we don't alert them to our presence. I say the 5 of you go into town. See if you can get us some food. See what you can learn.
All right. Kind of roll my shoulders and start.
I believe, if
Rowing
possible,
to-
Captain, we negotiate terms.
Well, as Sapush pointed out, I'm not much of a captain without a boat. I will defer to whatever the 5 of you think is appropriate. We're going to need your help, your weapons, your expertise. I'll have my men set up camp over there and do what you can. If you feel that negotiating is the right course of action, then I'll back you as best I can, but we don't have much to offer.
It may be a simple exchange. I do not burn his boat to the ground, and he gives us safe passage.
Don't lead with that.
The rowboats are pulled up onto this white sandy beach about a quarter mile from the village. There's no people close by, but you can hear the fishermen on the water and on the docks. It's not that far away. You're not hidden. I mean, it'd be impossible to approach this island during the day and not be seen. But you start, or the sailors start setting up camp, and the captain says, "I leave it to your discretion. Deal with the situation how you see fit. We'll back you, whether it be through force or any other means." Although he kind of says quietly away from his crew, in their current condition, I don't think there's much help we can offer.
We understand, Captain.
We'll be all right. Kind of give him a chipper
All right.
smile.
So the five of you walk away from these rowboats and towards across the beach towards this small village. As you're walking, the captain says, "White Bank." It's called White Bank. And you approach White Bank.
You said the island was about half a mile wide.
Yeah, the island this island. Yeah,
Does it have is it just like an atoll? Is it like flat or is it mountainous? Or?
it's relatively flat.
Okay.
Jungle on the interior and pretty flat, even beaches all around, with a couple small kind of rocky outcroppings, but a pretty calm place overall. You probably don't know much about island life, but you assume that there's fresh water here,
Or they have some means of collecting it.
right?
And they were formerly Furion, and they may feel more allegiance to them.
You think that they were formerly Furion, but I mean, they probably identify more with their native culture,
Mhm.
and they probably don't really care who their overlord is, as
Sure.
long as they're not, being subjugated.
Right.
As we're walking, say, must have been quite the thing. Quite exciting to be in that conflict. I must say, where I'm from, it's just us elves. Not much to fight over. There hasn't been a war there since. Well, there hasn't been a war.
Why do you carry such a big sword with no fighting?
Tradition. I was one of the guardians of the mist. We ensure that our land isn't attacked from the outside, but it hasn't been attacked for thousands of years.
This seems dull.
Yes, very.
Consider yourself lucky, Ariad. War is not something to daydream upon.
Well, may not daydream, but
Got the old 1,000-yard stare.
it is fun to view from a hillside, I will say. Nice satchel of walnuts, perhaps a cask of mead. It's quite amusing. Afterward comes the fun.
I imagine your character, Matt, very much as like Friar Tuck from Robin Hood.
Yes.
You know, like that jovial guy. Yeah. All right, cool.
Except he worships Dio.
Yo, you know Friar Tuck was a freak.
One battle can feed a forest for weeks. It is not all bad.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying, I haven't swung this in anger. It's been training dummies and training companions for 100 years. You know, it gets old after a while. To defend or to attack.
Just remember, the swing of your sword can have consequences far greater than who you may lay low.
I point to his stump arm.
As you get closer to White Bank, you notice that this probably isn't the kind of place that has a bustling tavern and inn. It probably doesn't have any sort of commerce at all. It looks like it's just houses. They're made out of wood from the palms with thatched roofs. A lot of them are built over the water or have docks that go right from their front door out over the water. You see most of them, since it's kind of late in the afternoon. Most of them are around their houses or in meeting areas. They've got cook fires going, and it looks like most of the village is just sort of eating dinner. And because of the climate, everyone's pretty much outside all of the time. The locals tend to wear very loose fitting clothing, shorts and
either no shirts or simple vests. Just because it gets pretty hot. There's no need for much more. Sandals or no shoes at all. But they're not savages. They know about the world. They just live a simple life.
They're just on island time.
Yeah, they're on island time. They're just all drinking their hurricanes.
Jake, what kind of? I assume they're probably primarily fishermen.
Yep.
What kind of boats do they have?
Their boats are all fairly simple, like a single sail kind of thing, like a small sailboat. Yeah. You do see some of them coming in from the ocean, and it looks like they don't stay close to the shore. They go out pretty far to fish.
Looking around the island, are there signs of like trade? Like, are there like pots and pans?
Sure.
and, like-
Yeah. One thing that kind of sticks out is you notice that the clothing that these people are wearing occasionally are adorned with jewelry that would have come from probably the capital city or or maybe from this fort that you're going to. Some of them are wearing jewelry or just articles of clothing. One thing that's common is this wide brim hat, which has become kind of like a trendy thing to wear, and it's great for them because it keeps the sun out of their eyes. So you see a few of those.
An island full of hipsters.
So they definitely trade, although there's not like a ship dock here. You couldn't bring a ship like the one that's anchored out in the bay up to these docks.
Can we spot the Furian soldiers or crewmen?
Sure. Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Discern reality for me.
Oh, cool.
As we're walking over there, Sapush was, we were chatting a bit, and then he kind of turned and realizes, kind of been focused on this situation, and the much more interesting thing is this jungle to the side, which is a little different than any kind of terrain he's been in before. So he's sort of very distracted by that as we make our approach, i.e., he doesn't see any soldiers.
Cool.
I'm just working on my experience over here.
Again.
I got a 6.
All right. In the future, we will not be letting Helios roll
They had wisdom.
discern reality.
What's that? It's your wisdom. So I got an 8. Excuse me.
Oh.
Better.
Ah.
All right.
Thanks for saving the day there, John.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I believe you get to ask me one question.
Let's see.
I think it doesn't have to necessarily be exactly what's on here.
Sure. I mean, basically,
asking about the soldiers is fine.
Yep. What here is useful or valuable to me?
Sure. So it doesn't take much to find these soldiers. You hear a loud conversation and some laughter coming from this open sort of pavilion near the middle of the village. It's the closest thing that these people have to a tavern. It's basically an outdoor bar with a covering to keep the sun off of them. And sitting around underneath it at some tables are about a half dozen Furion soldiers. And they seem like they're just chatting and having a good time, eating some sort of stew and drinking their frozen rum drinks because they're on.
The margarita.
Before we get to them, I'm gonna kind of turn to our little group here and say, we're going to want to book passage to the mainland. What do we have to trade with? I know we lost much of our goods on the ship. Do any of you have anything?
Farley is a trader. He knows that items are for everyone, but he might have things to share.
Is that true, Farley?
I may have a bit of coin still, so I mean I can probably front us some cash.
I'm sure the general will be able to repay you. Anyone else? My eyes go right past Sapush.
My sword and my armor, but those are irreplaceable artifacts of my house.
But you don't need them.
I may need them, depending on how well this conversation goes.
Father Black,
I have gingham root.
noted.
It is one of the more valuable roots.
I mean, I have the blessings of Dio that I could offer them. But most don't really accept that as payment, I've learned, unfortunately. So,
Helios turns during this conversation.
It's like someone comes into like your restaurant and they're like, "Oh, could I pay with positive vibes?"
And
I'll do
gingham root.
Reiki on you if you give me this latte.
Basically.
Most people selling lattes would probably take that trade.
Yeah.
Now, if we ever actually like publish this, you're gonna get letters about you making fun of Reiki
Yep.
from your sister.
The letters about how seagulls are not dumb and very smart creatures are just going to be pouring in.
Seagulls are the 13th most intelligent bird.
I will have you know. Helios is going to turn and kind of face this group again.
Okay.
And start kind of walking towards, I guess, what would be. I imagine like these kind of native villages have like a lot of houses on the periphery, and then probably some like community areas that have like just a thatched roof, and underneath it is where they kind of gather together.
That's
stuff like
exactly what this
Okay.
area is, where these guys are, and you can see there are some natives that maybe they're selling them food and drink and stuff, trading with them. Like there's a few standing around the table, and it looks like they're bartering, trading goods for food and drink, basically.
I walk forward and kind of step into the shade of the pavilion.
Okay.
And
So now tell me, Helios served in the Ferion military, right?
he served in the was a mercenary for the Balakai, but he's
Balakai.
from Furion.
He's
So
but he never was in their military.
no.
Okay. You step into the shade of the pavilion, and immediately they stop their haggling and conversations and look at your group. None of them say anything. The area gets suddenly very quiet as
Record
they
scratch.
wait for someone to respond. Who's gonna talk?
I'm going to. Is there any of the natives that look like they might be kind of leading this trade?
There's
We're going right up there. Okay.
there's two women who look like they were maybe bartering, and then there's an older man who was kind of standing back just watching the whole exchange, and he might be some sort of elder or something. He's definitely he's elderly.
Just to be clear on this, so we're in this potentially tense situation with these soldiers from a neighboring kingdom, and the person we send to speak for us is the person who betrayed them, who's wearing
Yeah.
his own hand as a fucking necklace.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's our icebreaker.
Is that
Yeah.
Space Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened. Anyone else?
I'm up there
So
with
far,
you.
I've just
at
stepped
this
into
point,
the shade.
no one has said anything
Yeah.
to them.
I-
So whoever wants to
I'm
talk
like looking
first.
over and I shrug and say, "Well met, friends."
I'm thinking I was probably like more focused on one of the outside houses, like trying to talk to them about getting food.
okay. And then you
and
notice
I turn
that
around and see,
Yep.
oh,
We're all there.
oh,
you notice
okay.
that Helios went right to that,
Yeah.
right to the
Yeah.
enemy soldiers. And then fittingly, Ariad, who is always willing to start some craziness, you say, "Well met."
Yep.
They kind of are just looking at all of you, mouths agape. None of you really look like. I mean, it doesn't look like a bunch of Balaki soldiers are approaching them, but you look weird. You look like a weird group, and you don't have a boat.
You're a bunch of fucking weirdos.
So they're just kind of in shock. And one of them says, "How did you get here?"
Oh,
A boat?
U-boat.
did a storm pass through here by chance?
Didn't see a storm, and I don't see a boat.
Well, how about that? Oh, our ship was scuttled. Or
Forgive my rude friend here. I am Ariad, ein Ariat. This is my friend Farley, and Sapush, Kyle over there, and Helios. And you are?
Pontinos.
Martinos, well met.
I'm the bosun. He points to the boat.
I like. Okay, I don't know. Don't know what that is. We as you can see, we are adrift, and we came upon this island. Saw your lovely ship over there. Wondered if you would render us passage to the mainland.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Well, I'm from another plane of existence. I
do
stepped
not
through
think that is what he's asking.
What
Where-
are you?
I am an elf of the elder race.
Thought elves were little and gave presents on the winter solstice.
What?
Little things. About as big as a mug.
No, I'm
It's a
actually
local.
much taller than you. I kind of stand up straight.
He stands up, looks up at you, and says, you are. But you don't have a boat.
Correct. That's why I'm talking to you. Our ship was destroyed in a storm. A few days passed. I kind of look around. I think. Kind of lost track of time, honestly. And your day, night. Well, anyways, we came ashore on smaller rowboats.
And we were hoping we could book passage aboard your ship.
What do you have to offer?
Farley is a trader.
Not much, as you imagine, as we have lost our ship. We have some coin among us.
We can work on the ship.
John, since you're doing most of the talking here,
Sure.
why don't you give me a parlay roll?
Parlay.
That's plus charisma.
Yep.
How's that for you?
A 1.
Oh, okay.
I put point in charisma. I'm mostly a strength and charisma barbarian.
Oh, those. Yeah,
those,
of course.
Of course.
The charismatic barbarian.
I didn't
Yes.
roll great though. I rolled a 6.
A 6. Okay.
Are you our charisma dog there, Farley?
I'm also at +1, so
Okay.
I'm about as charismatic as the barbarian.
He
Not
he
that
says,
kind of barbarian.
"Well, how about the 5 of you stay here, have a drink. Let me go get my captain. I'm sure he'd like to talk to you."
Can I get one of those coconuts, please?
Aye. He motions to his now empty chair, and he gestures to his companions to get up. And they say, "Go on, lads, give him your seats. Wait here. Don't go anywhere." Not that you could. Looks around the tiny island.
All right.
Says, "We'll go get the captain."
Thank you, Pontius.
Very friendly. I was worried because of your different colored plumage, you would be a problem.
Hey, you made it
For them.
seem like it would be a problem. They seem nice enough.
Sapush enjoys the birds.
What's plumage?
Feathers on a bird.
Huh. They walk away.
I say, Helios says, Sapush.
I'm sniffing their drinks.
So, Kyle and Farley, the two of you probably pick up on this better than the rest of these guys. But you get the impression that they don't have any intention of coming back and parlaying. They probably are going to go get their captain, but you think that they just don't want to be outnumbered. And there's a good chance that they're planning on coming back in force. That was the impression you got by the way they
Does
left.
it not seem odd
I'm like drinking the
yeah.
coconut drink.
to any of you? This island belongs to our side, right? But your side on Balakai? Why
It does.
exactly are we trading with them? I mean,
Be-
I don't know. It's been a little while since I've smoked anything, but I'm pretty sure that that's not how it's supposed to work, man.
Only about a day, and but yeah, I think you're right. The only way we're gonna get passage on their ship is probably in chains.
Oh. They seem nice enough. They're gonna.
Yeah, well,
Huh.
welcome to this plane.
Well, I guess it's a fight then. I like roll my shoulders, take a swig of the coconut drink.
There may be other
this is
options.
great.
We could head to that jungle that that Sapush was so interested in.
Yes, I could live there.
Helio shakes his head. That
Forever.
is not an option. We must make it to Fort Asan.
Do you need to fight them? We should do it when they're in the water. Humans are clumsy in the water.
So are elves.
I don't wish to fight them. I would rather do this peaceably.
I'll go in case that doesn't work. Sapush stands up and kind of starts walking away.
Tell me he turns into a hermit crab.
Sapush is gonna walk down to the water. Basically, if they're gonna move to interdict these guys and do talkie talks, that's fine. Meanwhile, Sapush slowly walks into the water, dips below, and then a little crocodile nose starts coming up and slowly working towards the
Yeah. So,
boat.
okay, go ahead.
Nailed it. That's
Nice.
a 12.
Okay. So the first hold is going to be to stealthily swim up to that boat as a crocodile.
Yep.
Saltwater crocs are like 18 feet long. They're enormous.
Terrifying. So, it takes you a little while to, you have a little bit of a conversation and then you stroll down to the water. But as a crocodile, you move a lot faster than their rowboat. So you actually get to their main boat around the same time as the 5 soldiers who you encountered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they went gut in a rowboat and rowed to their ship.
Oh, I didn't know if like the rest of these guys were gonna move to talk to them or interdict them before they got to the rowboat.
Oh, were you guys planning on doing that?
I hadn't planned on that.
Okay.
No.
So so you get out there and you're kind of floating around under their boat. And as they're climbing up onto their boat, you hear one of them say, the one who you spoke to, you hear him say, "Get the captain, all hands, get your blades. There's some weirdos on that island, and I'm fairly certain at least one of them is Baliki."
Well, Helios, what do you suggest?
It will largely depend on the captain. If he is a fighting man, I do believe Father Black and Farley are right. Chains may be presented, in which case we will have to fight.
Is the village elder still nearby?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
actually still on the outside of that pavilion, but he's watching you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at that ship, you hear a thump as someone throws something into a rowboat, and then you hear some sailors talking as they pile into the rowboat, and one of them, who you think might be that same one that you heard before, he says, "Well, either way, we can't let them know that we were here. They've got to die."
Sapush is going to start to stealthily make his way back towards the shore and basically stop where the water is about like 5-6 feet deep. And he's going to ambush right there and wait till their rowboat comes back in and is going to try to overturn it in the surf
Do the crocodile thing.
and hope my companions are there.
Okay.
And actually, if I don't see them like close to the shore, he might work if he has time, kind of come out of the water, and he looks at Kyle mostly when he's in animal form,
Right.
because he kind of has a connection with him. So if a crocodile walks up and starts staring at Kyle and then turns and walks back into the water,
Yeah, you've got a bit of time. I mean, it takes them a while to get ready. They're not like in a super rush because they know that you guys aren't going anywhere. So yeah, you do have time. You listen at the boat for a while, and then you make your way back, and kind of looking out over the water, you notice that they haven't pushed off from their boat yet. So you do go up on shore, but that whole thing that's about 15-20 minutes just
Okay.
to that point. So while that's going on, you guys are in the pavilion. You're drinking your coconut drink,
Mhm.
talking about going to war, and Farley, you notice that elder,
Maybe be
that
a little more. Yeah.
old man, still watching.
Farley, Helios says, can you speak with the elder? Can you ask him why they're here?
I'd be happy to, but we may want to watch what we say.
Oh,
He's
In front of
standing
her.
about 20 feet
Yeah.
away, but he's just staring at you
Yeah.
guys. He's wearing like a colorful robe. And he looks pretty non-threatening. I mean, he's probably in his 70s.
It is best that we do not tell them that we are of Balakai.
all right. Easy enough for me. What do we tell them when they get back?
I'm going to talk to one of the drink bearers, if you want.
Okay.
Just compliment them on the refreshments, and then ask a little about the elder. So is he in charge here?
That's Master Elder Ulwin.
Elder Owen. Would it be okay if I spoke to him for a bit?
Yes.
So
You approach him.
yeah, approach him.
Okay. He nods at you as you approach. And before you say anything, he says, for all of my life, White Bank has been a place of peace. We do not brandish weapons. We do not strike in anger. Please do not bloody our sands.
It is not our intention to do so, Elder.
Is it theirs? And he points out over the bay towards the other ship.
It seems that it may be. Have they come here before?
No. They fly the wrong flag for this year.
You've seen many years, I take it.
He nods.
Seen many flags?
I have. Does not matter to us which flag you choose to fly.
I have flown both in my day.
Then you understand.
I do. We will do what we can to preserve your land.
Thank you. If you wish to leave, I will help you if you do not shed blood.
Yes, our only goal is to make it to the fort. We're on a ship, and there really wasn't a storm that passed through here.
He shakes his head no.
Did you see it?
Shakes his head
no. We were far. Yeah, we were
Yeah, you were.
a decent
far
sail
away.
out, yeah.
And you're not sure that the night was pretty chaotic after the ship capsized. So you're not really sure how far off course you were thrown. But he says, if you do not shed blood with them, I will find you a boat that will carry you to your fort. If you must shed blood with them, take it to the jungle and do not sully our sand.
Well, then we should meet them in the jungle, one way or another.
I like Ariad's desire to fight.
Yeah,
His cheerful optimism towards a fight.
John,
he has a low wisdom. So
yeah, and is this part of your Herculean appetite?
yeah, I mean, mortal pleasure.
Yeah. If you guys do get into a fight, you can take one forward on that.
Cool.
Meanwhile, there's a giant crocodile ready to fucking turn this boat over.
Sapush is keeping an eye on them. Farley, what does the elder say?
He said he will make passage for us to the fort. But there's a caveat: we can't fight.
It is not our wish to do so. So this should not be an issue.
Well, I think if there is a fight, either way, the offer's kind of void.
Well, if there's a fight and we win, we just take their ship. Easy peasy.
It may not be so simple,
True.
and we may not want such a slaughter.
Farley, you're more knowledgeable about ships and stuff like that than the rest of the party. You know that ship out there is a little bit bigger than the one you were on. It probably has a crew of about 30. You think that your remaining crew and captain, they could crew it. It wouldn't be ideal, but they've got enough for a skeleton crew. It'll probably take a few days for them to learn the ship and kind of get it moving and kind of oil out the kinks and figure out where everything is because it's not their ship and their crew is so limited. But if it did come to that, you think that as long as no more crew die, that they could manage it. Just slows you down a bit.
Jake, can I use divine guidance?
Sure. How's it work?
Petition your deity according to precept of religion. You are granted a useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. The GM will tell you what.
Okay. Do you need to roll for it?
No. So my deity's domain is what lies beneath.
Okay. What does that mean? Tell me what it means to you.
I would say it's looking at things beyond or behind what really is. I guess in the sense of like Carlos Castaneda and like Medicine Men and that kind of thing, like taking a substance that shows you the way things work behind the scenes.
Cool. All right.
So I guess the question I would ask Dio would be what's behind these guys being on this island.
Okay. How do you think you commune with your god?
Doing drugs.
Yeah, I'd probably
Hit that pipe a little.
pull out a mushroom,
Okay.
eat a mushroom, and go sit in the sand.
Nice. Nice.
Stare out over the water.
Okay.
Listen to the waves crashing on the shore, and
I like it.
and hear Dio whisper in my ear.
You do that. You go sit under a palm on the beach. You feel the water lapping up on the shore. And as you're sitting there staring out over the bay at this ship, a crocodile crawls out of the ocean and starts walking up the shore towards you. And it speaks to you.
I think because of I don't think I can actually speak in
No,
animal
I don't think
form,
you can either.
but I think that my bond with Kyle, he immediately, I think he knows that whenever he sees me as an animal, that he knows it's Sapush. And also, I think Sapush knows when he's in one of his states. So he's immediately like, oh, this can wait a little bit. And so the crocodile just kind of comes over and lays in the sand like next to him.
Like a dog.
And enjoys like the moment that he's in.
I want the crocodile to have like seaweed dreads, like left over from
I like
his
it.
physical form.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the crocodile does that, and you note it, but then you look back at the ship and you just stare at it, and you think about the night before, and the sailors frantically working on the sails and trying to secure them and tie them up so that the wind didn't rip them apart. And you're looking at this ship, and you don't know much about sailing, but you can tell that it's been readied for a storm. Everything is strapped down. The sails are fully wrapped. The rigging and the masts have been secured. It's exactly what your captain would have done if he had known a storm was coming.
Okay.
And as you kind of come down from that, you realize that the crocodile laying next to you in the sand is Kapush. And then you see...
Oh, shit, man.
Just picture
When
this
the fuck
fire
did you
truck
get
looking
here?
motherfucker, looking at a crocodile, like who's been lying next to him for 15 minutes, be like, "Oh shit, man!"
I was thinking like Jake was going to say, you don't know much about sailboats, but you know a motor is really weird.
The crocodile swivels its big fucking dinosaur head out to the boat and back up to you, Kyle. And you see it open its mouth slowly and then clamp it down, kind of like mock aggressively twice. and look back at the boat.
Hungry? I'm fucking hungry too, man. I think there's some food back there. Oh wait. Those guys are on that ship, huh? They're supposed to be coming back, right?
They're getting into their rowboats right now.
The crocodile nods its big ass head, chomps 3 times.
And their rowboats push off
And-
from
and
the
he-
edge of the ship.
They're-
Kind of pushes himself up on his short legs and comes up to the side of you and pushes his body into you, like trying to get you up and moving. And looks
all right,
back.
all right, yeah, all right. They're coming. Yeah, they're coming. There's danger. So that's what you're trying to tell me?
Crocodile nod.
Oh yeah, all right.
I'm gonna head
You
down
gonna
to the
do anything
beach.
besides be a fucking crocodile, or you gonna run back with me? You know what? Never mind.
He turns and walks right down into the water, and you see him start to float out into the path of the oncoming rowboat.
Meanwhile, Farley, Ariad, Helios, under the pavilion. You've been waiting far too long. You're not sure where Kyle went. He's been gone for a while. You do know where he went because he does this sometimes. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go find out where Kyle went to get high. If you guys want to stay here, or I don't know,
We should not be divided when they return.
Let's go find him then.
So you head down to the
Take last
beach.
swig of the.
You head
drink.
down to the beach just in time to see a large crocodile just wander into the water. You know who it is.
but
You can call out to him if you want.
Sabush.
Crocodile heads
Oh
slowly.
shit! You guys are here too? Fuck,
Oh.
man!
Kyle.
You guys gotta stop sneaking up. They're coming. That's Sapush. He said that they're coming. Then he snapped at me a bunch, so I'm pretty sure they're coming to fight.
Oh. Interesting.
We should.
Yeah,
We should make for the jungle then.
Yes. Let's not anger the elders, right?
Agreed.
Yeah,
They
we-
will
we have
book
a right-
safe passage.
So push. We're gonna go to the jungle. We're gonna fight there.
He's
Oh.
Or not fight. I mean, we don't have
Oh.
to fight them.
Well,
You remember what Sapush said about fight humans in the water where they're not good at it. I see. You see a little silhouette you think might be him floating out.
if we fight them in the shallow water, does that count as spilling blood on their beach?
I guess that's up to the elder to decide.
We tried.
Did we?
I tried to talk to them, Helios, and obviously they were dead set on killing us. So, what do you expect me to do?
well. I felt like you could have led off better, but yeah.
I'm an affable guy.
I am sure
Well-
that they are nervous. They are not supposed to be here.
There's
You
about
kind of led with plane of existence again. I thought we went over this. It's not.
I think
It's not in the first
interesting-
3 sentences. It's not in the first 3 sentences, bro.
Okay, well,
Just next time.
There's 2 rowboats approaching. It looks like there's 8 men in each rowboat.
Is there a dock that goes out into the water?
There's several docks. They're very small, made just for their
You're
small
trying to burn their boats.
their small sailing boats. And that's where they had put their rowboat up on one of the longer docks. But they're just shoving off now and approaching. Farley, you're pretty sure that if you have to argue with the elder about the
the semantics
semantics of his request, it's not going to go in your favor. You think that the general feeling of his message was, keep it away from my village.
rules as written, or
right. But they're quickly approaching, and Sapush is out there lurking about. Every once in a while, you see a little bit of a ripple on the water.
I don't think we have much of an option without Sapush. I don't even think we'd be able to take one boat.
I think Sapush has forced our hand.
That's about half.
There might
their,
be a play here. He's got this. It's worked out well every time so far, right?
Thus far.
That's about half their
Also-
numbers out there.
Before I forget, before they get here, the ship. Look at the ship. I was talking to Dio. Their ship's ready for a storm. They battened the hatches and stuff, man.
Farley, he's right. Yeah, you hadn't noticed it before.
So they knew about it?
Does it look like it's been through a storm, or that this just prepared to go into a storm? Can I tell?
You can't really tell.
Definition.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The ship doesn't look damaged.
No.
Do they have weapons drawn as they row in?
Not drawn, but some of them are carrying weapons. They're not. Some of them just don't have sheaths.
But they're clearly
they all
coming in
have
force.
weapons. Yeah, they're clearly coming in force. Most of them have small shields, very lightly armored. I mean, they're sailors. They're not going to wear a bunch of armor.
I am reluctant to kill these men and disobey the elder.
Again, I don't know how much choice we'll have here, but we're looking at about half their numbers probably in those two boats. We have enough men with the captain to man that ship, but not well, and it'll take some time.
Sapush, you're not sure what's going on the shore, but they're not preparing for a battle. That's for sure. They're standing around talking.
Spush just keeps kind of circling, looking one eye, crocodile side eye back towards the shore, one crocodile side eye towards the approaching boats, and considering.
What say you all? Do we make our stand here?
I feel it is our best advantage, right? It may anger the elder, but unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that. If we win, we have a ship. We don't need to appease this elder.
And if we don't?
We're dead.
No.
Not only do we have to kill these men aboard the boats, but we have to kill the men aboard the ship.
True.
Well, I mean, if they don't have a captain,
Perhaps out of fear, they will relinquish command of the ship to us. You can strike fear in their hearts, Helios.
I can burn all of them.
Exactly. I then pull I unsheath my long two-handed curved sword, and I just stand there ready.
Now it looks like they're ready for a fight.
Fucking weekend warriors ready for his first
Fucking
call up.
3-1 odds, but
just wait.
What'd you say, Matt?
So just wait. Don't do anything rash.
Spush sees the glint of the sun off the steel.
I'm
figures okay.
Calf deep in water now, just standing there waiting for them.
He figures actually the attention is going to be focused on this big ass shiny elf, and he's gonna wait for the boat to approach, and basically totally lower himself under it, and then gonna spend a hold to go crocodile style and
Nice. Okay.
toss that shit.
And then we'll pick up with a combat.
Didn't even do it on purpose.
Old.
Police car and a screaming siren, pneumatic drill, ripped up concrete.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of our Into the Storm arc. If you're liking what you hear, tell a friend about it, write a goddamn review on Apple Podcasts, do whatever you can do to help us out and get the word out there. In the meantime, check us out online. We are at Nastygram on Instagram and Twitter. And the best place to interact personally with all the cast is at our Facebook page, the Nastygram RPG Lounge. Our intro music is by Wilhelm Scream. Scores once again by Adrian von Ziegler, and some new stuff from an awesome Finnish composer, Antti Martakainen. How did I do? If you guys are missing Dean on this arc, go ahead and hop over to LSG Media. Listen to all their great stuff. He's on it all. LibertyStreetGeek.net. Thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Days of speed and slow time Mondays. Missing out with rain on a boring Wednesday. Watching the news and not eating your tea. Freezing cold flats and death on the walls. I said that's entertainment. That's entertainment.
That's nasty.